So as a buyer, there are a couple of different things we can do to avoid triggering loss aversion or to avoid being overly influenced from it. It's okay to be loss averse. It's okay to have great attention to losses or have loss attention, but we don't want to be disproportionately influenced by it. So the first thing we want to do is simply be aware of the fact that this is a powerful emotional impulse. Try and notice when we are having this feeling or when it is acting on us, and just have that awareness of it. That's the step number one. You've got to know that you're under the influence of loss aversion. The second thing you want to do is try to look at it objectively. So do the maths. Look at what you're going to be spending each month. Look at the value that this product will actually add to your life, or what you're actually saving, or whatever it might be. But try and look at that objectively, run the numbers, and make sure that it is a good decision, or you can see the value in that. The next thing we want to do is avoid auctions. Auctions are awful because, definitely from a buyer's perspective, they're terrible. Because as soon as you place a bid, you will not be able to help it. You will create an emotional attachment. You'll create a feeling of ownership and a right to that resource. And as soon as someone else starts overbidding you or bidding up and up and up, you are going to feel that they are trying to steal that resource from you. Not that you're both just in a free market determining the value of that product. You're going to feel as if they're threatening to take that product away from you, and loss aversion will kick in, and your reptilian brain is going to fight to keep that resource. Now, if it's an essential resource for your survival, that's going to be very useful, wonderful. But I'm going to assume that it's not, and it's probably a want to, not a need to, and in which case you probably shouldn't be overpaying for it. Avoid auctions. Now, that's a great way to trigger that emotional investment and that feeling of ownership. But the other one is, of course, to physically hold it. So do not pick things up. When you are in a shop, pick up the thing that you really have to try on once you've decided that's going to be a good look, or pick up that item and put it in your shopping trolley if it's on the list, or if you want it, whatever, it's groceries. I'm not going to stop you buying those extra treats. But once you put something, do be aware, once you put something in your grocery cart, you're going to check out with it. You are not going to put it back. And when it comes to online shopping especially, don't add stuff to your cart just to see what the total is, to see what happens with the shipping cost. Do not do that. Make the decision, do the maths, and then add everything to your cart, one simple go. And actually, we'll touch on this again in the next point. There's one other thing you need to do after that. But don't add stuff to your cart unless you intend to buy it. Don't pick it up off the shelf. Don't do the test drive until you've decided what you're prepared to pay and on what conditions you'll walk out of the dealership. And don't sit down at the piano unless you know exactly what piano it is you are ready to buy or whatever. That's not a very good one, but you get the idea. So the final one then is time. Give yourself time for the emotional impulse to wear off. You don't have to make the decision there and then. Yes, they'll probably work to use some urgency and time sensitivity on you as well if they're a good salesperson, but unless you do need that item right now, let it sit for a day, let it sit for 2 days. So back to the online shopping carts, I like to add everything I need to my shopping cart. I'm ready to check out. I'll put in all my details except the credit card details. I'll be about to click purchase, and then I will pause, I'll close the window, and I will leave it for 2 to 3 days, for up to 72 or so hours. And what's going to happen is there are a couple of things. I'm going to have a moment to go, well, hold on a second. I actually don't need those 4 other things that they got me with right before the checkout. I don't need all those little value adds. In fact, I only need the base model of this that's going to fill my needs. Secondly, you're going to get abandoned cart emails from the company. If they're worth their salt, they will send you a follow-up email saying, hey, we noticed you left this in your cart at checkout. Ignore the first one. And probably you'll get another one at some point with a discount. Hey, if you want to go complete your purchase, there's free shipping or $10 off. So leave stuff in your shopping cart if it's online and wait. If you're at the grocery shop, yeah, just go check out. But in most other situations, when we're talking about bigger purchases, set a rule. When you've decided you're ready to buy, don't go and shake on it just yet. Go, that sounds great. I'm now going to go and think about it. Thank you. Walk out of there and come back 2 days later and make your purchase. You'll be able to avoid that loss aversion impulse being triggered strongly, and you'll be able to make the most logical possible and rational decision without being too heavily led by emotion.